Good morning. Good morning. And welcome to the First Congregational Church of Woodstock, where whoever you are, wherever you find yourself in your life or spiritual journeys, whatever kinds of questions you may be holding on to, you are welcome and celebrated here.
Will you join me in the spirit of prayer? Transforming God, we ask for eyes to see the audacious vision in these ancient words. Stir our spirits to move beyond abstract belief to concrete, visible commitment. Show us where the foundations of justice and community care need rebuilding and gaps in need of bridging in our own time. Grant us the wisdom and resolve to dedicate our gifts to this ongoing communal effort. Amen. Our first reading is from the prophet Nehemiah, chapter 2, verses 17 to 20. Then I, Nehemiah, said to them, "You see the trouble we're in? How Jerusalem lies in ruins with its gates burned? Come, let us rebuild the wall of Jerusalem so that we may no longer suffer disgrace." I told them that the hands of my God had been gracious upon me, and also the words that the king had spoken to me. Then they said, "Let's start building." So they committed themselves to the common good. But when Sanballat the Horonite and Tobiah the Ammonite official and Geshem the Arab heard of it, they mocked and ridiculed, saying, "What is this you are doing? Are you rebelling against the king?" Then I replied to them, "The God of heaven is the one who will give us success, and we are his servants and are going to start building. But you have no share or claim or memorial in Jerusalem." Our second reading is from the Apostle Paul's first letter to the early church in Corinth, chapter 3, verses 10 and 11. "According to the grace of God given to me, like a wise master builder, I laid a foundation, and someone else is building on it. Let each builder choose with care how to build on it, for no one can lay any foundation other than the one that has been laid. That foundation is Jesus Christ." May these words comfort, challenge, and inspire us. Thanks be to God.
Wonderful. Good morning. Good morning. I'm Carl Asikainen. I'm in the program. I'm from TEEG and Thompson. I'm going to just say a few words about myself and what brought me to this work. I'll go over just a tiny bit about what TEEG does, although many of you know what we do, but I'll just highlight some things, and then I'm going to just talk for a moment about the moment that we're in, and thank you. So I grew up far away in Abington, the farmer side of Pomfret, on Fay Road, Pomfret Community School, Woodstock Academy. Bob Kirk gave me a couple of C's, which I deserved. In English, for sure, there were better students at those moments. So thank you. And fast forward for me, I grew up here, and my partner got into veterinary school at the University of Pennsylvania. I moved into Center City, Philadelphia, and I was a bicycle rider and working in a cafe, and the owner of the cafe said, "Well, please open this for me." It was right off of Main Street in Center City. "Open this each morning for me, and all you have to do is just kind of move," excuse me, for a hot second, kind of move a person to the side so you can access the cafe. So I won't talk much more about that because I can't at the moment, but that, for me, kind of opened my eyes to people on the margins, and those who are struggling. So I became an outreach worker in the city of Philadelphia for a variety of nonprofits. I worked at a very low-demand emergency shelter, and by low demand, I mean it was for people who had been kicked out of shelter, called My Brother's House, 609 South 15th Street. It's a wonderful space. It's still happening. So that, I want to share this with you because that, for me, started my career. And so I've been doing this for 30 years now. And not only, so I got my teeth cut on the streets of Philadelphia, working with marginalized folks, working with the police, working with other outreach workers and emergency psychiatric folks to get people into shelter, to get people into emergency rooms, to get people into just safe spaces. I also did a variety of work around the food system in Chester County, Philadelphia, working with Amish farmers and doing food rescue. And I had my son in this horrible Volkswagen Passat wagon with like burlap sacks of donated corn, and we were donating to all of these nonprofits around Chester County, Coatesville, Lancaster, into the Amish country. Just really wonderful work. I came back to Connecticut in 2003. I worked for End Hunger Connecticut for 11 years doing work in homeless shelters and in prisons and in housing sites to let people know about the scope of feeding programs that are available. And shifted gears, worked for TEEG for a bunch of years, and then worked for the Coalition to End Homelessness as doing advocacy at the state and federal level and training on best practices to respond to housing crisis, like literal homelessness for folks. So, and then I've been back at TEEG for a handful of years, and I've been the director for the last year and a half. So I don't know any other tricks. This is all that I can do. I think the work, it frankly chose me, and we can talk about what that might mean later if we're interested. But those are my roots. I'm very happy to be back here. My partner is a veterinarian in Thompson. We live in Eastford. I met someone from Eastford who was very far away. Anyway, wonderful. So that's me. And so TEEG, you know about us at TEEG. We are a grassroots agency that's been here for some 38 years. We were founded by a small group of people in the town of Grosvenor-Dale to respond really to needs of young families and through a play group and opportunities for young people and also a feeding program. And we've evolved to be like a primary social service agency for your town, for Woodstock, for Pomfret, and for Thompson, and often Putnam, and then for any of the towns that are around us, including some in Massachusetts and Rhode Island, for an emergency response for any of our citizens around us. And we have programs that we help people with energy assistance. We help people with the food stamp program, which has been very contested lately. We have a really vibrant food pantry, and I want to just congratulate you for all of the work you do hosting Community Kitchen. It's just vital, and it lifts up and supports the work that we do, because we're all in this as partners to kind of make these changes and to lift up and support families. What else do we do? Oh, some very intensive hand-in-hand work, I want you to know, where we identify young expectant or new parents, and we work with them until their kids are school age. And we do that in any town. And there's a caseload right now of about 18 families right now, and we have 3 workers. So working kind of broadly, down to Sterling, in Thompson, Plainfield, like kind of all over. The food pantry is busy, right? It's probably about 100 households a week. We serve food 3 days. It's where we meet most of our clients and where we try to figure out how else can we support you to lift you up and get you to a better place. And we are also the youth service bureau for these towns, and that means we work intensively with young people in the school, in Woodstock Academy, in elementary school, families who are struggling, youth that might get in trouble with the law for one reason or another. We're a space where they can come and still work on school while not being involved in the justice system. We're a little diversion, a little workaround for that, and we try to provide all these wraparound services for people and families, because it's not about just like picking up a young person and getting them to school. And a lot of people struggle with getting to school, but the work of getting someone to school is like a kind of the tip of the iceberg, and then you realize there's a lot more things going on with the family that we can offer support around. So I want you to know the staff of 20 of us and 12 part-time mentors or per diem mentors, they are a devoted staff. We all take this work very seriously, and we try to stay light, but we all take this work very seriously, and I'm happy to be a steward of resources for these communities, for you, and to help. I think I'll stop that with TEEG, and then I'll just tell you about this moment that we're in. So Ann Miller was the previous director, a fantastic person, still we still convene over coffee, and she's a great assistant. She did the work for TEEG for 8 years. But when she left, I don't know, the time has been going really fast for me. I started in August of 2024, and I don't know if we remember January of 2025, but that's when there was like an announcement of like no funding for nonprofits, and my goodness, nonprofits are nearly terrorist organizations. There was all this wild executive orders that have happened since then that we have been responding to. So the climate for the nonprofit community has been wild. I've been working on disaster plans, for our agency. What can we do if the bottom drops out from the federal level, which affects the state level? And so it has been a challenge. I would say, too, most recently, the notice of funding opportunities that just came out in these last couple days from Housing and Urban Development cuts up to 60% of the funding for permanent supportive housing in the state of Connecticut, which are those families and individuals that are at greatest risk and that are permanently supported, are in jeopardy of being outside. There was an executive order in August from the administration about homelessness and about how people who are outside or experiencing literal homelessness are simply addicted or mentally ill for the whole of the population, which we know is absolutely a falsehood. All of the data shows that maybe there's a quarter of the people who are experiencing addiction or a substance abuse disorder, and maybe 20% of the folks have a mental health illness. And some of these things happen when people become homeless, right? Or when they actually experience homelessness. So we're kind of pushing against that as well, or dealing with that in the greater terrain. And then most recently in November, of course, the government shutdown has been a struggle, and the challenges with the SNAP and food stamp program. And so you all know the scope of the SNAP program is like for every meal that we provide, or for every meal that the community kitchen provides, SNAP provides 9. And so the scale of that program and the importance of the program within the communities that we serve is, we can't do it at TEEG. We can't do this alone. We need to be a community in response to this, and it's just kind of impossible to make up that space. But With that said, there has been, historically and in these last 2 weeks, just an amazing outpouring of local support of small donations to us, and that is what keeps us going, and that is what TEEG is founded on. And so we appreciate all that you do for us and the communities that are around us. And I would say as well, I have a big, long list of programs that are challenged. There's energy assistance for our neighbors, right, is also contested. There's private donations from the town of Woodstock that lift families up. So please, yes, donate, and then thank you for also helping us, because we're responding to these calls daily. And to have monies not from the state or federal level, because those are contested, to have monies from a local level to be able to keep families warm during this winter is just vital. So thank you for that support. And then lastly, I would say the commodity supplemental food program, the food program that would give food to community kitchens in a big way, and that also feeds us and feeds Daily Bread and Friends of Assisi and Project PIN and Brooklyn Cares. This program has been greatly reduced. If you look at the amount of truckloads of food that have not occurred in the last year to Connecticut Food Share, I think it's upwards of 18, 19, or 20. It's millions of dollars of lost commodity food. So I'll stop painting that, because I want you to know the context that we come from. But I also want you to know that you all are vital, and I think the response is through community and standing together. The more that we realize those around us who are struggling, the better we are. We are concerned at TEEG that we are not reaching every person. We know there are people out there that we're not reaching. We're not a perfect entity. So I would just say thank you for your work and the work that we do together. Acutely in the short term for toys and food, this is vital, and for money, this is vital. But also long term, just thinking about solutions in the spring and solutions next year, and making sure that those who are characterized on the margins for one reason or another, or those who are on the margins, don't stay there, and that we realize who they are so that we can help them. Well, I think I'll stop, but I'll be here. I will be here for coffee. And again, I really we can't do this work without you all. And I appreciate your historic partnership with us. And thank you for taking the time for allowing me to stand in front of you, and hopefully we can walk together some more.
We are the church alive. May it be so. As we prepare to head out into this world filled with uncertainty, not knowing what may unfold in the week to come, may you go believing that what you have is enough, because you are enough. You are part of God's ever-unfolding, all-enfolding dream. And when we dream that dream and we use the knowledge that the gifts we have are enough, when we combine them with the gifts of others, we truly can be and become the church alive, bringing God's love, rolling back fear, and being the light that God yet calls us to be. Let us go and let us be the church once more. Amen.